is Monday, March 13th, and Shadow and Bone Season 2 comes out this week. I am so stoked. 3 days. So excited. If you haven't seen already, I have been posting a countdown to Season 2 for like the past week, and I've been counting down with my top 10 favorite moments from Season 1. Well, that is what this video is about today. I've actually got 2 more of those videos to post tomorrow and the next day before the season comes out on Thursday, but if you want to know those top 2 ones, you're gonna see it here first. Of course, this video is going to go into a little bit more detail about each of the 10 top favorite moments of mine from Season 1 and why they're like my favorite moments, like why I chose them. But for now, let's go through all 10 moments, counting down from 10 to number 1. So, number 10 out of my top 10 favorite moments is when the Darkling comes back out of the fold at the very end of the season. It is a great cliffhanger at the end. Of course, when he died in the fold, I was like, surely that can't be it for him. But the moment when he came out, and then there's the Nichevoya, or Shadow Monsters, I think I'm pronouncing that right. I just barely read all of the books. But it's one thing reading it on the page and hearing it in the audiobook versus actually saying it out loud. But still, it was just like a great moment seeing him come out. And the most surprising thing about it was the fact that now he's being followed by these shadow monsters that he can apparently create and control now. It was just a really exciting moment all in all. The reason I chose this one, I honestly had a really hard time choosing my number 10 spot. I found it fairly easy to choose my top like 7 or 8 favorite moments. And like my top 5 were already laid out. The whole reason that I had the idea for this video was because for a bunch of different moments in this season, I was like commenting on Reddit or whatever and being, or Twitter maybe, I can't remember, and being like, that's definitely in my top 3 favorite moments from the show. And I'm like, you know, I should make a video about my favorite moments and like rank my top 10, and it became the perfect way to count down for the new season. So I already had like my top 3 definitely laid out. When I thought about it a little bit more, I had my top 5 picked really easily. Then the next couple came not too hard. But then it came down to like the number 9 and number 10 slot. And I'm like, this is so hard because then there's just like so many good moments that maybe aren't as awesome or great as the other ones that I picked for like the very top spots, but they're all just really good moments still, and they were just competing with each other. And I eventually chose this one because I thought it was a perfect way to end the season, a nice little bit of a shock value as someone who watched the show before reading the books, and I just thought it was a very great moment overall. Number 9 is the introduction of Kaz and Jesper. Honestly, this scene is one of my favorite parts of the first episode. I just love how their characters come out in this scene. You see a little bit of like Jesper's gambling addiction, but also you see like this character, he's charismatic, he's pretty quick thinking, and he's got the gunshot where he shoots the Zemini coin, and then just like the music drops when Kaz puts his cane down. It's just like edited together so well that it just has like these vibes that I really love. And I do specifically, part of the reasons why I ended up placing this as my number 9 spot is because this is one of the moments from the first time I watched the show that I remembered so well. And I think a lot of the moments that I did pick for this list is partially because of my reaction and memory of them upon my first time watching. I've seen the show like probably at least 10 times through season 1 now, but like this is just one that really stuck out to me at the beginning of season 1. I just loved how it was played off with the music and the interactions between Kaz and Jesper, and just the whole, you know, interactions at the gambling table too. I just loved it. Number 8 is Kaz's phosphorus bomb after he's talking to the Darkling. This scene overall was just so good. I love the entire set of scenes, like the fighting when they split up in Rivos, and with Kaz, just the way he's like talking back and forth with the Darkling, where he's like, it was pretty clear that she wasn't interested in being a captive anymore, and it just like cuts so deep. Like, it was such a good comeback to the Darkling. But then like the end culminating piece of that scene is when he throws like the phosphorus bomb and just disappeared. The first time I watched the show, I was like convinced that he had to have some sort of Grisha powers or something, because I'm like, that was just like such a smooth disappearance by our little friend Kazzle Dazzle. But it turns out that dear Kazzle Dazzle is just a master of distraction. Also, the other thing that upon rewatching multiple times and after reading Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, Six of Crows again, and Crooked Kingdom again, that I really appreciate too is like the little hint toward Wylan right there, because when I first watched the show, Kaz was probably like my favorite out of the three, and then upon rewatching it, it's more like, nah, Jesper, Jesper, but then once I read the books, I'm like, Wylan, and so like now all the little tidbits, like when Jesper asks for a demo man, and then when Kaz throws the phosphorus bomb, and apparently it's hinted in the trailers for season 2 at least, that Wylan is where he got the phosphorus. But yeah, I put it as my number 8 because it was just like such a smooth scene by Kaz, the disappearance and the shock on the Darkling's face, and it was just so dramatic and I just loved it. Number 7 is Jesper's fight with Ivan. Now, pretty much the same exact part of the show. I'm sad that I didn't get to include Inej's fight with Polina on here. I was very close to including that as like the number 10 spot, but I didn't. So let's give an honorable mention to that, just the quote where she's like, in that case, I'll take my knife back. But we're not talking about that. I also almost included these 3 as like one thing, but then I'm like, well, it's really like all their own things. And so I decided to keep Kaz's portion and Jesper's portion as my number 7 and 8. But Jesper's fight with Ivan, honestly, out of all of the things, after watching the show the first time that I was most intrigued about, there were 2 things. One was, what the heck is up with Kaz's gloves? And that didn't make like this list because there's not like a one moment. It was just more of like a curiosity just in general that's brought up in like the first episode or something. But number 2 is, wait, Jesper, what did Ivan mean at the end of this scene? And I was like, I'm gonna keep this video spoiler free for anyone who's only seen the show, only seen season 1, maybe seen promotional material for season 2. And I think that they're gonna address this in season 2, even though it normally wouldn't be addressed until like the Six of Crows plotline. But this was one of the biggest things I was curious about after watching the show the first time. And so it really made this scene extra intriguing. But even without that end portion where Ivan's just like, you're a, and then, you know, gets cut off by Jesper, it's just like such a smooth fight too. Like, it's so impressive how Jesper can just like ricochet his bullets off of these pans hanging on the wall and hit Ivan in the exact same spot 3 times and make him, you know, fall over. Ivan's so confident that it's not gonna do anything, and then it just takes 3 shots in the same spot on his kefta to totally knock the wind out of him. And the other things I just love about it too is just Jesper's approach to this fight is like, I do love a challenge. And he, at the end when he's like, you should have quit while you were ahead. And also his joking line that he also repeats in the last episode where he's like, I should have shot you in the face. All in all, that fight scene was just super intriguing, super impressive, super like captivating, just as like a TV show scene goes. And so that's why I put that as my number 7 spot. Number 6 is the part where Nina is teasing Matthias about beguiling him. Now, I had to include something with Nina and Matthias in here. Even though they're not in all the episodes, their storyline kind of takes a little bit of a side plot. It's not really involved with the rest of the storyline. But there's just so many good moments between them, and so this is the one I chose as my favorite. And I really, really love this moment between Nina and Matthias because it's totally like, first of all, a huge, great example of their relationship beforehand, of like she's teasing him and he's like stoic, and it's just like super cute. I love seeing Nina teasing Matthias. But then also it's just like such an important moment in the relationship too, because obviously right after that Nina almost falls off the cliff when the ice breaks out from under her, or ravine, and then Matthias does decide to save her, and they like reintroduce each other, like actually by their own names. It implies that they didn't even tell each other their names before that point. And so not only is it like a really cute and silly moment with Nina and Matthias, and then a really dramatic moment when he saves her, and almost doesn't. You can see it on his face, but he decides to save her. But it's also just like such an instrumental moment in their relationship as well. And so that's why that's the one I chose to include on my top 10 moments list. Now, the top 5, these 5 are the ones that like automatically I knew what these were gonna be. These are like my very, very, very favorite moments of the whole show. Like at some point or another I might have said about any of these, oh, this is like my favorite part of the show, but then I realized there were so many, so there's 5 of them. And number 5 is when Mal tells the Darkling, I don't have to kill you, your past will do it for me. And there's just such like a poetic like balance for this one, and it's like such a cool line that Mal gets to say at the end of season 1, because in the previous episode Kirigan had told Mal that I don't have to kill you, time will do it for me, because he's immortal and Lena's immortal, and eventually Mal will just wither away and die like all humans. But then when Mal is like the freaking bravest person ever and knocks Kirigan off of the skiff to fight him, and is like going back and forth, and he finally gets the upper hand, and the Darkling's like, did you really think you could kill me? And Mal's like, he's got a gun in your face, like he could totally shoot you, but he's like, I don't have to. Your past will do it for you, because he can see, or at least sense, the Volcra coming swooping in after General Kirigan. And it's just like such an epic scene, and just like such an awesome line. It's just like, dang, mic drop, right? Oh, I loved that moment. But even so, there are some very slightly more memorable moments for me. My favorite, number 4, is on the train. I don't know if it counts as a train, but when they're traveling through the fold with the conductor, and the Volcra come to attack the crows and Arkin, and Jesper gets up, and he's hugging Milo, and he's got his gun, and he just bang, 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 and there's just like some awesome like cinematography there. Just like the zoom up and like panning down his revolver is so cool. And just like, I don't know if you can tell, but I love Jesper. He's like my favorite out of all the characters who have appeared thus far. And it's so impressive. It's just really entertaining to watch him in the fight scenes, or I mean if that counts as a fight scene, shooting the Volcra. And it's just so, like the drama is so dramatic, because he's like walking up slowly, and then he boom, boom, boom. And that's the thing too, he's doing it one-handed because he's holding Milo, and it's so good. It's so good. I love that part. One of my very favorite just like parts of the show, I'd say if I have like top 3 like sections of the show. It's this one when they're crossing the fold with the conductor. It's the fight scenes in Ryavost, and it's the last final battle at the end of episode 8. Speaking of, let's get on to the top 3. Number 3 is the moment where Alina cuts the piece of the stag bone off of Kerrigan's hand and absorbs the antlers. It's just like that entire moment. It's like a minute long. The stag appears to her, and then she is just ready to take him down. And some of these, like, part of why I like them so much is because, like, the dialogue that accompanies them is just so, like, dramatic and intense. And Alina's just like, well, Kerrigan first says, we're all each other needed anyway. And Alina's like, you may have needed me, but I've never needed you. And she just, like, slices, like, stabs the knife into his hand and cuts off the bone and, like, it's just so intense. And then she's like displaying her powers and makes the antlers like absorb into her, and just like that entire thing, it's like a great climax reveal showing that she can control her own powers because the stag chose her, and it's just so epic and like I love it. Number 2. We're cutting back a little bit. I mean, there's not much left to go after that part. 2, earlier on, in the first half of the show, my very second favorite part of the show, I love this so much, is the Royal Archives heist. Now, you've probably noticed a lot of my favorite moments include Kaz, Inej, and Jesper. They were my favorite parts of the show, watching it the first time. What really got me hooked on the show, honestly, the thing that got me hooked was their plot line at the end of episode 1. The reason I pushed play for the next episode was because, oh my gosh, these people are being hired to kidnap Alina. What is going on? So it makes sense that some of my very, very top moments are just them being their amazing criminal selves, the thieves that they are. And the thing I love about the Royal Archives heist is just how smooth it is. It's just one of those moments in TV where, like, they make a plan and almost nothing goes wrong, but even when something does, they are able to solve it in, like, less than a minute. And just like the entire thing, unfortunately, I couldn't fit the entire thing into my shorts video, or I haven't posted that one yet, have I? I'll post it tomorrow, but I have to keep them to 1 minute for the shorts. But like the whole whatever 3 minutes of it is just like so smooth, and the narration of Kaz on top of it all shows like the mastermind that he truly is. And it's hilarious to see Kaz pretending to be like this artist, and he just like slips phosphorus onto the archivist's shoes so smoothly, and Inej comes down and is able to copy the map. No hitches at that point until, you know, the lights go back on. But then you see like how good Inej is at hiding and just being the little wraith that she is. And then Jesper's able to get her out of there by being the great shot and quick thinker that he is by shooting the lock to the gate when the clock goes off. And they run out of the Royal Archives having accomplished their task with minimal hitches. And the thing that's so enjoyable about this and so many of these other scenes is just the fact that the pacing and like the narration in this case, but also the music and everything is just like edited together so well that just makes it so captivating and dramatic and entertaining. And that's honestly the reason why I love so much of these, my top 10 moments in the show. And now we are finally to number 1. Do you have a guess? I think you might be able to guess this one. It is my very favorite moment of the show, and the first time I watched the show, At the end of this episode, I wanted to run around my apartment. I was literally pacing around our apartment trying to get this energy out from like the "you have got to be kidding me" reaction. Have you figured out what scene it is yet? At the end of episode 5, when Alina gets in the carriage that Jesper is stealing, and she literally just delivers herself to them. They've been trying to kidnap her. Episode 5 is one of the best episodes, and they've been trying throughout the Winter Fate to kidnap Alina, and their plans keep going wrong. And then when it comes down to it, Jesper's just chilling out there. Alina is running off, and she's like, let me hop in this random carriage and be a stowaway, and it happens to be the same carriage that Jesper's stealing to get away with Kaz and Inej. And then they show up, and they're like, we lost sight of the target, and Jesper's like, just ask. Oh my gosh, that is something. It was like an utter shock. Greatest moment of the show, in my opinion, and I am just like grinning every time I watch it, even though I've seen the show so many times now. And the fun thing about that one too is I'm sure that was just like a totally like out there and random and surprising thing even for people who had read the books, and that's what makes that scene like just so great. It's bringing together these two storylines, and it's like in the book she does get into a random like carriage or wagon or something like that. It's like a trailer or something that's holding scenery, but it has nothing to do with the Crow storyline because that doesn't exist in the books. And so like they brought those together in like the perfect way, and even though it doesn't last long, then it's cool to see those characters interact. And just Jesper's reaction to it all, he's like But anyway, those are my top 10 moments from Shadow and Bone Season 1. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite moments are from Season 1 of the show. I'd love to see if yours made the list, or if there's anything that I will regret not including on the list. Let me know down below. Also, remember, I have been posting as a countdown little 1-minute clips of each of these top 10 moments from the show as YouTube shorts. I think I might make a playlist of them, so easy access at the end of the video. You can click that or click the cards if you want to go and watch actually like the 1-minute clip that I'm specifically talking about for each of these top 10 moments. Since the show is coming out this week, I am planning on getting at least 1 or 2 more videos out about things I'm wanting to see and predictions for the show. And then I'm actually planning to take a day off on Friday so I can binge watch the whole thing Thursday night. I'm still gonna be at work on Thursday, but I am super stoked to see Season 2. If you want to follow along with my reactions, then you might want to go head over to my TikTok, because I'm going to be posting reactions for watching each of the episodes. But yeah, I think that's everything I was going to mention. As always, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe, which you can do by clicking over there. Check out some more videos. Up top is my reaction to the Season 2 trailer, and underneath that is the playlist I mentioned of all of these top 10 moments videos. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!